Now, in this slide, we will look at the alternating approaches of criticism. Now, criticism has had a long tradition. It has come a long way from ancient times, from the period of the Greeks. And initially, we had critics like Homer, Hesiod, and Aristotle who laid the foundations of classical criticism. And classical tradition had its own benchmarks and its own parameters to judge a literary text. Generally, if you look at the classical tradition, the focus was on the form rather than the theme. So it was not content which was as important as the manner in which it was presented or the manner in which it was written. So when we speak of the structure or the form or the style, we are looking at language, diction, tonal appropriacy, then perfection in form. Of course, the themes also needed to be grand because in the classical period, they believed that stories of only kings and royalty and soldiers, not even soldiers, in fact, knights and generals and warriors were worth sharing. The common man's story was not worth sharing. So you will not find an epic which talks about a peasant's life, or you will not find a tragedy which is based on the life of a worker or a poor man, not in Greek times, that is. So, this classical tradition believed in lofty themes and their representation through lofty language. And there was a lot of focus and importance given to structure. Also, plays and epics were considered to be good if they had a moral intent. That is, they needed to be didactic in nature. Didactic would mean instructional. So, plays which carried a lesson, a moral, which could be applied in life, plays that demarcated uh, good and bad very clearly, and works that showed poetic justice, as in the bad person gets punished and the good person, he is kind of rewarded, or he, if a person is on the right path, he's on the ethical path, he will be elevated. Those kind of concerns can be seen in classical tradition, but all in all, more importance was given to form and structure, and therefore writing a literary text or creating an epic was more a matter of craftsmanship rather than creativity. So it was like delicate filigree or embroidery. Yeah, if you know what I mean. So one example that comes to my mind is the structure of the Taj Mahal. If you know, Taj Mahal is one of the seven wonders of the world because of its perfection in its form. It's geometrically just perfect. You look at it from any angle and it appears to be the same. And that is what has immortalized Taj Mahal. And that is why it enjoys the position it does in the world of art. So you can imagine if you transfer this metaphor of structure to a literary text, classical critics expected that kind of perfection in the structure. So the arrangement of words, the correlation of phrases with each other, the rhyme scheme, all of that was very important. On the other hand, you had the romantic tradition where they believed in complete freedom from rules and rigid principles. They wanted to experiment with language. They focused on flight of imagination, and they resorted to very easy everyday language, and the style was simple. The themes were very common. It was around the common man, the person, the farmer who's working in the field, or the Highland Girl, if you remember Wordsworth's one of his poems, where he listens to the song of this Highland lass, he calls her, right? So, and these were primarily to do with subjective experiences. They didn't have to be universal themes or epic battles or stories of epic warriors or sacrificing knights. They could be common subjective experiences.